Hello, everyone. My name is James Strong. Welcome to SIG Networking Subproject Ingress NGINX meeting for June 9th. Yeah, it's June 9th. So, of course, this is a CNCF project, which guidelines of the COC Code of Conduct, which basically means be kind to each other. If you have any issues, please report those to myself or Ricardo, or if there are issues with us, report that to the CNCF. Hopefully, we'll not. Ricardo will be on his best behavior. Unless you're mean to him in your PRs.
That's what I do.
Awesome. So we've moved our meeting. So now we got Long and Yanto. Yeah. Hey, guys. And Carol, thanks for joining. So awesome. I'm glad this time works, that we've finally figured out to move the time. And we're going to have fun today. So we're going to walk through, do some issue triage and walk through some of our action items. And as you all can see, our lovely friend, our German friend Noah, is not joining us, and he hasn't updated. He's been doing a really great job with that. So I think we've got to pick up that slack and for the review, because we don't have anything to review from open issues. But we can go ahead and start working through the triage conversation. Is there anything that's top of mind right now? I already know that Long is going to say 124.
Just I would just ask you to, yeah, I can fix the agenda and add the other items while you open the issues there.
Got you. Looks like we've got a certain number of them. Do we want to start with the 124 conversation, or we just want to work through triage?
I think we can start with this one. I've been seeing some movement on there. Maybe I want to understand actually what's happening and not just dropping the test, but maybe fixing, because if the test is not working, does it mean that we don't support version 124, or we just need to fix something in the test?
It's a very good question.
Basically, what's happening is there was a deprecated flag in the kind cluster creation YAML, and that was causing the worker nodes not to join the cluster. We removed that, so that error went away. Now what's happening is there is a funny story of one script calls the other, one makefile calls the other, and so on. And for like 200 minutes at least, it just sits there waiting for API token thing. That is basically a message from the small piece of code that actually is trying to create a service account specific to a test or specific to that.
Is this the deprecation of the automatic token creation? Because doesn't that get deprecated in 124?
I don't know that part.
I think we have to generate it now instead of relying on it automatically being generated for us.
Okay. So then that's it. Then we have to do, that's the fix then. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, it was one of those fun deprecations that just kind of went under the radar.
Okay. So now we have the option of either working on that, fixing it, automatically generated.
This is okay. Yeah. This is that. This was fun, right? Because they deprecated something that was really critical, and no one was knowing. That's not generating the secret, right?
Yeah, it doesn't generate it for us automatically. We have to do it ourselves. Yeah. So that's probably the issue.
Okay.
My hours of Twitter paid off, because I actually saw it on Twitter. I didn't see it in the release notes. So
yeah. So we can probably, if we don't have an issue on that, probably we can open it and add. I think this is right now that James actually raised this as a problem. This may be a good first issue, right? It's just like fixing in Ginkgo, on the entry point of Ginkgo, maybe, or on the makefile, not waiting for the. We need to change how the service account is created, right? If you have some reference on that, James, I can't remember, but like generating the secret is not automatic anymore, so we should just
Yep, I'm looking for it now.
Okay.
There it is. It says it was a beta release in 124. Here's the open issue. Sorry, I've got use Chrome as my default browser. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, that could be a good first issue. Just we can open it up and get somebody to work through that fix. What I thought someone did do the update for us. I don't know the contributor's name.
No, I think that the update was for the leader election thing.
Oh, okay.
Wasn't that?
Because I remember putting in a couple issues. One of them was the bump CI to 124.
Yeah, that guy just changed he just bumped the kind version and he just added in the matrix in just one place or two.
So we didn't do a good job of directing them on what they needed to change. So that's fine.
Probably he didn't know, but my thing is CI is broken right now. So what's your decision? I mean, you guys, do you want to like go with this and wait until it fixes, or we remove 124 now and then get a new? Jintao said we did it PR.
I prefer to fix it.
Yeah, let's fix it. See if
but until then, all CI will be broken.
That's fine. We just don't accept. We won't accept PRs until we get it fixed. I mean, that's part of making sure that we're staying current, right?
This is where. Let me post this, but this is where this is broken as well. So hold on. So what we need to do is James, it's gonna post probably that cap, and this is where the things they are broken, right? Because we keep waiting for the secret to be created, but the secret doesn't get created anymore.
There's an assumption in our testing.
Yeah. So we need a way to create. We need a way after doing the create service account in the line 58 to change and see how is the right way of doing. If like just kubectl create service account right now does have a new option to do that, or if we need to do something else.
Correct.
But that's not gonna be just create. Let me see. Create. Let's say dash help. Show save config output field blah blah blah. Yeah, it doesn't create the secret anymore. Okay, amazing. Yeah. So probably posting that. Yeah, probably posting is gonna be enough to figure out. That's what we need to do. Figure out, post, and do some rant on Twitter, as any other person complaining.
CI did what CI was supposed to do. It prevented us from making updates and changes. So
yeah.
Shall we fix it first?
What's about?
Well, I think we can remove 94 kbps version first.
We remove 124 from test.
Yeah.
I don't agree. I think we should fix the end-to-end test to create the service account for us and remove that assumption.
Yeah.
It's not going to break. It won't break any other testing because we're assuming Kubernetes is created for us. So we can just create it for the 124 testing. Because I'm sure if we don't fix it now, we're going to forget, and then someone's going to say things are broken on 124 and they're not going to be able. Because I don't know what other deployment stuff you're assuming.
It works both ways, right? It works both ways. Remove 24 just for now, have a PR which will take care of the entire thing, or what you're saying also works. That's the right way. What you're saying is the right way. We come across a wall, we cross over it first, not just go around it.
Yeah.
But then who's going to do it?
So this is something that actually why I wanted to fix this, because we state in the README that we support version 124, right?
No,
We don't do that on the latest release.
no, there is another. Jinda, what was that feature? There's another feature that we are
Okay.
not.
No.
Yeah. So okay. Sounds good. So if we don't support it, then okay. But I would like this to be fixed as soon as possible. And I mean, what James is telling. So we have two problems. The first one is that while we do support the version 124, we are gonna get the GitHub action in an infinite loop, like for 3 or 6 hours, because it keeps waiting. We don't exit that secret creation on the shell script. That's what I've seen. So this is why they are taking like 3 or 4 hours. And if we remove,
No.
I just
It's
yeah.
two different. No, wait. It's two different topics. So one topic is that election ID is not ready.
No,
So
that's not
because of
that's the secret account. That's a service account. That's not the election.
No, if you're going 124 support as a question, and then election ID is not there. So even if you fix just testing, we can't actually be releasing manifest of 124. That is what Jinta was saying before.
Okay.
So even if we fix the testing issue, that doesn't fix the NGINX supported 124 because we need the election ID
Right.
fixed.
Yeah.
Okay, I see the distinction now. Okay. And how are you working on the election ID fix for 124 support? Who's
Oh, okay.
You are?
Yeah.
Okay. That's fair. Then okay, I see now. I did not realize that there was a break for 124 for us. I thought it was just in testing. So that's fair to remove 124 from testing till election ID is fixed. So that even if we do, because we know even if we fix the 124 testing, it's not going to work because we don't have the election ID changes yet. So let's just remove 124 from testing.
Yeah. So my ask on that is that we don't lose at least the service account stuff before the leader election, right? Because the service account is something.
Both of them are going to need to be fixed in that.
Yeah. Okay.
In the leader election ID fix, you're also going to have to generate the service account tokens to support 124. So both of those are going to have to be in that fix in order to get 120. Because I don't know what tokens we're assuming when we start up, when Ingress NGINX starts up. So that's going to have to be part of the election ID fix. Does that make sense? So let's pull 124 from testing and wait until we've got that PR fixed. Do we have an open issue for this for 124 support?
Yeah.
No, so we can create one.
Okay.
But for testing, that is for testing. So Jinta has a PR for election ID, but we don't have a PR for the testing fix. So we can create a new PR for testing fix.
Yeah, let's pull a new PR to pull 124 from testing. That's fine. I just want to make sure that folks are aware that we're not supporting 124 yet because of the service token and the election ID fixes. That's what I wanted, to create a separate issue for to track that, and then tag that tag Gentile's election ID fix for that. So I'll go ahead and do that. Can you open up the PR to remove 124? So that should be pretty quick.
Yeah.
Fun times.
I can do directly on master if you want. I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna do that.
Don't do that. Bad Ricardo.
Yeah. Oh, damn, that's recorded. I'm just kidding, folks. I don't commit directly to the main.
No directly commits. But this 124 discussion does, we need to have that conversation because we're now at N-3 about dropping 120 and 119 support from testing.
Right.
If we're going to continue with the N-3. So once we go to 121, in that 124 PR, we probably should drop the 120 and 119 testing. And also we also need to discuss the dropping of the legacy branch as well, because we're not going to support 124 on the legacy branch.
Yeah.
And I think we said we were going to continue supporting that for, I don't remember how long.
6 months, and that ended in February.
It ended in February. Long's
Right.
keeping us on our toes. So there's that conversation as well. So that's something that we probably need to put out there, that we're dropping the legacy supports. So we can craft that up and get that sent out to the dev mailing list. So I'll put that as an action item. So we've got like 3 action items now. Oh, somebody's keeping track for us. Thanks, Ricardo. Oh, those are open topics, not action items. I'll just create a new action item. And how do you have that, your PR number?
Vinta just updated the PR.
Yeah.
8091. I know. 8091 is the issue. So I don't think there's a PR, James. I think it's only an issue. Jinta, there's no PR, right? Just an issue, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Jinta, lease API only issue number, right? No PR yet, right?
Yeah. It's only an issue. An issue.
Okay. Okay. So James, confirm there's no PR. It's only an issue now.
Okay. I just tracked the issue there.
8091.
Okay. Awesome. Cool, cool, cool. We haven't even got to the triaging. That's fine. Let's go ahead and let's spend the 15 minutes on triaging some of these issues.
Just a note that some important features or fixes people have put in, and they're good to go. They're asking for it. So, but unless we're making a release, or unless we have thought of a release now in the next couple of weeks, we should talk about it. Otherwise, we can just wait.
Are you talking about,
So
are you talking about the perf bucket split?
Ranging from perf bucket to some recent ones.
So I promise I won't take too much time before the issue triage, but I wanted to, before we jump into it, actually pass through the open topics first, because I think those like we can delay some non-critical issues, but I think that some things we need to align before the next 2 weeks, right? So do you mind, folks, if I just go to the open topics before going to the issue triage?
Yeah, because that's a good conversation.
So can we go to the open topics, or do you prefer to go to the issue triage before?
I'm fine with going to the open topics now that I see that you have what you have written.
Okay. So the first one is that me and James, we opened a request for the community survey. During KubeCon, we spoke with Josh Berkos, and we opened an issue for that. I'm not sure where this is, but we had a lot of time to discuss about some things in the future of Ingress NGINX, and we also got a lot of people figuring out that like was me and James, and hey, where is gateway API on the Ingress NGINX, or hey, why do you have so many CVEs or whatever, right? So, and during those hallways conversations, I was like a bit, I'm not gonna say annoyed, because the annoyed is not like a a good word, but I was a bit concerned about people asking those questions versus people actually contributing and all of the bugs that we had, right? And I wanted to know and to get some feeling on what the community is expecting from us. How can we make Ingress NGINX useful for like 90% of the users, but not accepting all of the features that we have right now? Because as an example, maintaining mod security is pretty complex and takes half of the time of the CI and the build process is for mod security and open tracing. And we don't know how many people actually use that, right? Or if we can just follow a deprecation path on that and focus on what's important, like performance of the Ingress NGINX, of the proxy, adding some more configuration that are part of the core in NGINX and not like external stuff like adding headers and things that people keep doing on custom snippets that we can turn into configurations and removing and even doing the cleanup of the templates and so on. So this is after this discussion that me and James we had on KubeCon, we decided to open and take a look into how many people are actually using mod security. And I'm not sure if you saw, but mod security is going to be maintained by the company that created mod security. So it's going to be just like probably abandoned or something like that, or it's going to be some developers, but the release process, which is already slowish because we know that they are also volunteers, it's going to be slower. Right. And same thing for open tracing versus open telemetry. And we have people looking into open telemetry, and maybe open tracing can be deprecated and other modules as well, like Broadly, which was one thing that I implemented back in time, but I'm not sure how many people is using Broadly. It was like for a really specific case for myself that I needed for performance. So this is the idea of the survey, that we can know how many people, how much people are actually engaged with features, right? So if we do have a lot of people using each of the features, or if we can focus, even when we do gateway API stuff, if you can just focus on the core stuff. So this is the idea of the community survey. Any addition on that, James, that we discussed that I can't remember?
No, I mean, that was the main talking points. It's just, again, getting an idea. We have an idea of what we need to do from a feature plans perspective. We need to understand what the community is expecting and what they want and how we can align those. So that's part of this conversation is we need to get this out there. We need to get information from folks because we're just not. So we need a way to correlate all of that information and understand.
Yeah. Which takes us to the second topic that I have added to the agenda, which is the feature freeze versus the bug fixes, and why I have added this thing, right? So what happens right now is that we are accepting a lot of features. Like someone needs some performance bucket, something in Prometheus, someone needs a new module, someone needs a new OpenTelemetry something. And people, they come, they implement the new feature, and then they just drop. And then we have a problem when that feature becomes a bug, right? So Ingress NGINX, I think it's by far one of the ingresses that has more features compared to all of the others. So people they just use and they say, hey, can we do this in NGINX? Yeah, we can do, and then implement. Like we have how many canary something balance that we have in the load balancer? We have like 6, 7, I don't know. Every time someone appears with a new canary balance and they say, yeah, that's just like a new query parameter. Now it's by IP, now it's by country, now it's by the weather. Like I can direct if it's sunny, I direct to a backend. If it's raining, I can direct to another backend, right? And I think that we are missing the point of focusing right now on the stabilization. We are spending too much time reviewing features, and we are not spending that much time actually fixing bugs. So we had 3 CVEs back in time, and probably there are more to come on one specific problem that could be fixed by just like spending, instead of 1 hour, spending 3 hours and trying to figure out how we could fix it, but instead was like, hey, I need to fix this fast because I have later new features. I need to make a release. This is gonna like implement a new feature to someone that's waiting as well. So I'm not trying to be a jerk here, but what I'm trying to say is that maybe we need to establish after the community survey, and I'm really biased to that, saying, hey, we need a long time support for Ingress, which means we are not going to accept feature PRs for the next 3 or 4 months. We can keep them open, but we are just going to focus on the code stabilization, which means code cleanup, which means removing modules, which means deprecating stuff. And then we can go back later and be really cautious when accepting new features or not. This was another discussion that happened in KubeCon, not only with Ingress, but even with Kubernetes, that we accept features and then those features, they become bugs, but the person that implemented that feature just disappear, right? Or they don't have time anymore because I don't think any of us are paid to maintain Ingress NGINX or anything in Kubernetes. I would love to, right? But that's my hobby during the weekend. So this is the point that I'm trying to get here in the feature freeze, that after the community survey, we need to sit down and say to the community, hey, we love you. We know that you like using us, but we need to make better for you. And this means that we will stop receiving feature requests right now so we can understand what our code is doing and how we can improve that for this time window. Make sense?
Yeah, it makes a whole lot of sense, because if you actually get statistics, over 90% of the features that we have implemented in the last, let's say, 8 months, they're only used by 1 or maximum 2 users.
Yeah, and it adds like thousands of lines of codes and so on. So yeah. I'm not like a huge fan of the Kubernetes enhancement process, the CAPs. I'm one of the persons that wrote like 3 or 4 of them, and half of my KubeCon was like making jokes about CAPs with Carlos and James. But I think that we need a design document that doesn't make things too bureaucratic, but at least we get some feedback from the community, like if this is really desired or not, right? So instead of spending time reviewing another canary algorithms or something like that, we can just spend some time really figuring out how to implement Gateway API, as an example, or Ingress class. Okay.
So I think I agree, and I think to put the expectation out there of, yes, we want to do the code stabilization. What does that mean? I think it's 3 things. We need to actually do the sidecar container implementation split with the controller in Ingress NGINX, but we tried to replicate with the CH root. That's the first one. Fix Ingress class object issues, and then start looking at the Gateway API in that order from prioritization. So if we're going to say, hey, we're going to stop accepting feature requests right now, this is what we're doing, why we're doing that. I think that's the important piece, is even, to tell the community.
And just a factor that at least 40% of the features that have come in the last, let's say, 6 months, they are kind of inherent in the Gateway API spec. So, for example, headers, people want to start routing using headers and stuff like that.
Yeah, and it does make sense. Like headers for me is one of that makes the most sense there. Like you adding the headers. I got a question on that, but I don't think we need to cover all of the features and all of the things. So yeah, let's make this, James. We can and I mean, we can create a collaborative document and post on the development channel or something like that, but we need to be really direct on what this means, like 3 bullet points. What we want to achieve with this. We want to stop doing this. We want to start doing that, as you told, James. So yeah. Sidecar is going to be fun. And maybe removing deprecating features, deprecating used features. I use the same model in my documents, Jintao. Yeah.
I like that. Why, how, and what? Okay. Well, we can write that up in the doc or when we send that out.
Mm-hmm.
What? Just
usually I just use like on the other way, like I do the what, why, and how. I'm not sure if you are like if you have a right order on that, or this is the right order that you follow, but we can, yeah. I would follow this one if this works.
So we'll write up the doc that's collaborative. We'll send it out to the dev mailing list, drop it in the dev users Slack channel. And then for new feature requests, we just have that message be like, we're doing this starting now. So the timeline, let's get the doc ready to send out for our next meeting.
Mm-hmm.
So we can send it out and start then. And then the timer starts for us. And we probably should put timeframes. So for our next meeting, for all of us, for those four things, how long is it going to take us to actually do those 4 things and have the document drafted so that we can send it out, so we can set the expectations.
Okay, this Jira was a mistake, right?
This what?
You say have this Jira?
We just, again, if we're going to say we're going to do something and we're going to how, what, and why, we also need to put timeframes on it and set expectations.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like we tried to do with the API versions. So part of that discussion probably should be deprecating the legacy branches. So anything sub 119.
This can be inside those items as well.
Yep.
Like we want to focus on the new things, and so we want to remove the legacy, deprecate the legacy branch. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Those are all important things.
Those James, the new PR to remove, that is 2 different bullets. So new PR to remove 124, that will be me, but issue 8091 is the other thing.
That's the election ID.
Yeah, election ID.
Okay. All right. So we discussed this code stabilization, the community survey.
The word it missed a R. Not that it matters, but
yeah.
Yeah, spelling's hard. What's the support for new Open Rusty? Is there a new version?
Yeah, so Jintao raised that, and some other folks did raise it as well. There is the Open Rusty version 120 that already supports the new NGINX as well. And so we, as we do have a lot of people asking, hey, when are you going to migrate from 119? Because 119 is bad and whatever. So if someone wants to work on this, it's going to probably be a new major release, but it's like, I don't think it's going to be that hard. It's going to be just like move to the new NGINX and check what patches we need or not. But yeah, we need to do that as a new major release and not using version 119 anymore.
Yeah, it's the move to 122, right?
Yeah.
That's 120, right?
And it can fix some CVE.
It's really echoey. Jintao, I didn't catch that.
Yeah, wait a minute. 9.90, let me check.
120 or 121?
121. I was just taking a look into that. Yeah, and what I think what Gentile is telling is that there is a CVE on 119 as well, right? That we couldn't fix. Yeah, he sent this issue here.
Yeah, TLS.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. So yeah.
Is it critical important?
Yeah. That's a priority, critical, urgent.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, so that's fine. And as soon as we have someone to work on that, if anyone wants to work, I think it's gonna be just it's not gonna be, probably we are gonna figure out when we run the end-to-end tests, right? So yeah. Okay, there was
So-
something else.
Okay.
So we
What about mod security?
So I think that mod security and open tracing, open telemetry, they should be part of the email that we send. Right, so we need to ask Josh the timeline for the survey, and then we need to figure out what we do with them, like what we need to do with those features. Can we drop them? Do we need them? Can we at least split them and remove them from the main build?
Okay. I'll take that one. We're gonna add this into this message right here. Add that message in there. That's what this is. Intel is doing that one. It's got that one. I'll open that new issue, timeline for the survey. So I'll draft a message and open up a doc for it, drop all this stuff in here, and I'll drop it in the channel for us to comment on, and we can get through that and have that conversation next week to be able to send it out. And we can add the be on the lookout for a for the survey. And yeah, okay. Cool.
So we're not accepting new features, but what about the PRs that are already?
No. We didn't took this step yet, right? Like saying we are not gonna accept. This is something that we are gonna just send. We need to before just doing that and going to the PRs and saying, hey, we don't accept features anymore. We need to draft the document on the rationale of why we are doing that and what's our timeline and etc. So right now, let's not do anything on the PRs. Let's just keep them, and And if it's like some bug fix, or if it's something that we think that can be acceptable, like a documentation improvement or something that's really simple, we can just accept. We just need to put like a hard stop as soon as we decide, send the document and say, okay, so right now we are not accepting features anymore. So we are accepting features. We are not just gonna merge them for the next 3 or 4 months, right? So anyone can provide any contribution on that, but we as maintainers, we are prioritizing something else. But make sense? So let's not state that we are not accepting features anymore, because this is not true right now. We are gonna just propose to the community that.
Yep. So when we send this out too, my other thought too is that we make sure we add this in here, this video recording, so folks can see that we've had this conversation and they can understand. And also, again, they have questions, comments, or thoughts, they can come to the community meetings and the Slack channels. So I just want to make sure that, again, we're driving the right behavior, and this is needed for long-term stability of the project. Okay. Now that we got the serious stuff, let's go to the fun stuff. Issue triage. Any other comments before we move on?
Not from my side.
Okay. Fun. Let's go ahead. See how many have opened up since the last discussion. 191. Long global rate keys. Wrong one. Okay, using a new version. Good start. We need to, this is a minor issue for me. I think we need to move up what their issue is to the top in the template, because you've got to wade through all of this before you get to the actual issue. What happened and what's expected. So that's no rate limit is found in the endpoint. Accessing it, make the Ingress controller print this message.
Look at his snarky comment at the end.
I want to use authorization key as a header, but the OIDC token is over 1500 characters long, which is over the max key length. Add hashing to the user's rate keys.
Just a question. Is he passing to the annotation some Lua code? And
yeah, just look at the last comment. Go to the end and look at his last comment.
This does not look like a valid value for. So this is more of an issue than a.
But hold on, because it kind of raised it like a red flag for me. Just roll out a bit for the annotation.
Yeah, you're right.
So the controller is accepting that I pass a Lua code and interprets that?
It's not.
It's not. Okay. Because I was really worried, like if that annotation was being interpreted by Lua.
I'm sorry. So is this host wrong?
No. If you roll out a bit more, yeah.
The annotation itself, he sent the annotation.
Okay.
Oh, the key. I don't know what this annotation does. Sorry, folks.
It's for the global rate limit when it shares the amount of connections that are going. Like it's a key value, right? So you have the key and then you just increment that. So this is the key.
There's a Lua. There's a Lua command, the join command in the annotation. Come down.
Yeah, but my concern is that they are actually doing that, and it's roll out a bit more, James. Create an ingress with the annotations. Yeah, this join stuff. This is not running, or is it?
It's not running. He said what's
Okay.
happening. What happened, what do you expect to happen? He's written there. What happened, what expect to happen.
Okay.
Oh, he's expecting that we MD5 hash that key that he's sending in. And then, what?
Yeah.
So just above what you expected to happen is the actual error message when he tries that. What happened? Yeah, in the what happened section, that's no rate.
So what they want is actually the Lua is dropping that, saying that this access key is limited to 200 characters, and they want something like 1,500 characters because they use something like a JWT token as the key. So here is my rent opinion on OIDC token being used for those things, right? You can't. So the OIDC token, the header can have like 4K, which means like 4,000 characters,
Yeah.
right? And it depends on what the authentication side, what the authentication side returns to you. And then sometimes that's bigger than the 4K. So what the outside they do is like they split that, right? So they start splitting that header. So doing this here, it's gonna solve their problem, but it's not gonna solve other person problem, right? Because the JWT token is gonna have like 4K or 6K or something like that, and we are just gonna again wrap them into 1,500 characters. So I'm really not I'm really not not willing to do this, to make this change, or at least it's for me it's something like it can be verified in a really long term, right? So because it's some really specific case for JWT tokens to limit to do some global rate over an authenticated user. So yeah, I think that maybe it should be some other way, like extracting from the OIDC just the username and using the username as a key, as an example, instead of the whole token.
I don't disagree.
I can write that.
They should be using the information provided from the JWT instead of the actual token itself, because it's identified the user.
Yeah.
Who would do that? NGINX would still have to pull that information out from the JWT, wouldn't it?
Yes, and this is something that we don't support right now, but there was some discussion about using NJS, like they're running JavaScript, in a sense that, okay, I have this JWT token and I want to extract the information for that for something else. So someone raised an issue on that, and I say, yeah, okay, I think it's fine, but before doing that, you need to support an NJS. It's going to be a new feature. I have some other things that I want to prioritize. Other persons, they wanted to add this to Lua. So Lua would extract or do something like that.
Would parse it out and then present it.
Yeah, but still, it's a really specific use case.
Yeah, no, I agree. This is one of those things where it's, again, back to our previous points. How many users is this actually affecting? What is the burden on the maintainers over the long term? This is a very specific use case for one user.
Yeah, he's the only one asking for it. Nobody else asked for it.
Okay. Feel free to take it as a feature request, which is fine. We'll take it as a feature request, but it goes under the priority log of what we've just previously discussed. we have to look at how we're going to prioritize features once
Yeah.
we get through the stabilization.
Hmm.
This one I don't think would make the cut.
Yeah. Like thumbs up. Thumbs up would be a good selection for features.
Yeah, thumbs up would be a good selection. We need to figure out a way of how we're going to prioritize feature requests. That's a future discussion. But yeah, I'm gonna assign this one to you, Ricardo.
Okay.
I don't know. So the other thing is like I know,
kind feature.
yeah, kind feature. But the other thing too is like when we've looked at triages, when we say like triage accepted, it's like, is that a signal saying like, yeah, we understand that this is an issue and
This is valid. Yeah.
this is valid. Okay.
Hmm.
I just don't want to say, since we're not going to.
Yeah, that's a valid feature request, but I mean, it's questionable, right?
RI cats.
Yeah.
I can't type. Okay. Oh, it only took us 7 minutes to get through one. Sure,
Yeah.
we'll get through all of them. There's the survey. Close that one out. This is a bug. chroot cannot read from dev random.
Someone wrote something about that as well, right? I think this is a duplicate. Take a look if there is.
No. So, so what happened is someone did a PR, and files that were supposed to be character devices came across as files, regular files. So the PR is put in. Now what's happening is permission denied error is being returned when they try to actually use it. So they try to use the different device characters before, but now they're trying to, they just demonstrated that they use DD to against the character device urandom as input, and then they get a permission denied error, but they get it only on the chroot dev urandom, not on the main containers dev urandom.
Okay. So I sorry folks, I have to drop here, and I just got a page here, but I understand this one. If this is a duplicate, just a second.
Is this a duplicate?
Sorry, folks, I need to drop. Let's can we just move this to Slack? I'm gonna answer on Slack.
Okay.
I really need to. I got an urgent stuff to solve here.
Well, it looks like we got a couple things open with chroot. Yeah. We'll move this to Slack. We're at time anyway. Something's broken. He has to go fix it. Letha, thank you for joining and just hanging out with us. Okay, I'm gonna drop, guys. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.